Each year, over 200 people drown in lifeguarded swimming pools in North America. A lifeguard's job is not an easy task. It is full of demanding challenges and responsibilities. A review of 30 years of research on vigilance and safety reveals that due to reflections, glare, stress, heat, and fatigue, optimum vigilance is not possible for more than 30 minutes. And lifeguards cannot be trained to see what they cannot see. Posidon computer-aided drowning detection systems can help. What you're about to witness is the power of Posidon. This is an actual near drowning and rescue. A young girl comes off of a water slide into the deep end of the pool. She takes in water, struggles, and eventually blacks out. As you can see, she goes unnoticed by the other swimmers. Once she begins to sink to the bottom, Posidon recognizes her trajectory and begins to track her movement. As she rests on the bottom, the system counts 10 seconds before sounding the alert. Once the alert has been sounded, the system continues to keep track of the elapsed time until the victim is moved. Credit Posidon and the lifeguard's training and skills for saving this young girl. She survived with no ill effect and was back in the pool 2 days later. This is just one of many such incidents where Posidon has helped and assisted a lifeguard to prevent a drowning and save a life. Now let's go back and watch this same near drowning and rescue segment. We will define the unique power of Posidon and its ability to help save lives. In this segment, Posidon is monitoring all the swimmer's activities as the young girl appears in the pool. Here, Posidon's virtual image target tracking engine, VIT, is identifying suspicious behavior by locking on and tracking the young girl's descent to the pool floor. VIT is the first of Posidon's powerful and unique software components that work together to eventually communicate audible and visual alerts to the lifeguard that a critical situation is in process. Posidon's active volume software joins in the event sequence after VIT to recognize and distinguish changes and determines for Posidon the differences between two-dimensional and three-dimensional objects on the pool floor, in this case, the young girl and her shadow. Further, Posidon's texture scan software scans the original texture of the pool floor to memory and identifies the changes created by the victim. The system begins to flash direct and starts its 10-second count prior to sounding the alert. Posidon has now identified a potential drowning in process, which has not been detected by the lifeguard or the other swimmers. The system sounds an audible alert and identifies the location of the victim. The image of the girl on the pool floor is captured by 3 different camera views on the interactive LCD supervision workstation. The pool diagram in the top left of the screen shows the lifeguard where to locate and rescue the victim. In addition to the workstation screen, the LED display, which can be seen from anywhere in the pool area, also visually displays the location coordinates of the victim. This keeps the lifeguard from having to access the workstation in order to determine the victim's location. The lifeguards are alerted by a 100 decibel audible alarm, and they proceed to scan the visual warning displays for the location of the victim. Notice that Posidon's alert stops when the victim is moved. Posidon's alert has now been disengaged. It's also important to know that during all of this critical activity, Posidon continued to track the activities of all swimmers. Posidon has the ability to detect multiple suspicious events simultaneously. If this event had taken place in a pool with depths of 7 feet or less, overhead cameras would have monitored this incident with Posidon's CapScan and TwinScan technologies. As active volume and texture scan work with underwater cameras, CapScan and TwinScan work together with overhead cameras to detect suspicious objects and their positions, and if need be, activate rescue alerts. As you have seen, the power of the Posidon system software clearly demonstrates that Posidon is much more than a closed-circuit television camera system. This diagram depicts the hardware side of a typical system. The heart of the system is a central processing unit or server. This is where the powerful Posidon software resides and operates. All of the components of the Posidon system are supported by an uninterruptible power supply, which keeps the system up and operating during short-duration power outages. The eyes of the system are a series of overhead and underwater binocular cameras. For depths of 7 feet or less, overhead cameras are used. Each camera pair includes one blue-green lens for monitoring the floor of the pool and one infrared lens for monitoring the pool surface to a depth of 12 inches. The system constantly compares the two images for irregularities. If the infrared images do not match the blue-green images, the system begins to track the suspicious object. If the object becomes stationary and there is no infrared image match after 10 seconds, the system begins its countdown to alert. These cameras are positioned for redundant coverage. In the areas with depths greater than 7 feet, binocular underwater cameras are used. These cameras are also positioned for redundant coverage. These binocular cameras have a 180-degree view for maximum coverage. Depicted here is what a standard camera lens would see versus Posidon's 180-degree view. Here is actual footage of what the Posidon underwater camera